Welcome to our sound design live stream, or our Q&A live stream. We're going to be just basically answering questions that people asked on the Patreon, on the Discord, on Facebook, Twitter, just people ask all around. I've come up with some questions myself too, just what I think would be cool or interesting talking points, just some general questions that I came up with, and then some people have some actual very specific questions when it comes to sound design. People are just join the Discord and usually ask, or come on Patreon and usually ask. You can check both of those out below. It's in the description or right below the video on the Twitch channel, and you guys can just check it all out there. But anyways, we're just gonna get started, jump right into this. Our first question is, why should I go indie? I think that going indie is excellent because independent developers, no matter if you're an artist, if you're a sound designer or a programmer, whatever you are, it's excellent because the skill margin is absolutely massive. You can meet game developers who are creating really simple and really easy to make and really, I mean, no game is easy to make, but there are people who are just bad at making games, but they still want to make games. There's also people that are very, very good at making games and have high aspirations. And whether you're a person with high aspirations, or you have high quality, or you don't have a lot of time on your hands, or you have too much time on your hands and you're able to allocate more dedication to your indie developer situation, it's just that there's always going to be other people that can match your time needs, your skill needs, and you will fall into some development team somewhere down the line. And what's cool about indie is that it's entirely independent, and that's great because you're literally just focusing on your own skills. Your skill set will grow over time, whether you're a sound designer or an artist or a programmer. It will continue to develop as whatever team you're with. Maybe the first indie development team that you're with, maybe it won't go so well, or maybe you'll outgrow them quickly, or someone on the team will outgrow you. But the good thing is that you can focus on yourself and improve how you want. And as you grow, you're going to grow in different directions in indie. I think it's important to note that there will always be a place for you in indie development. Not everyone will need a sound designer or a musician or an artist or a programmer. They might already have those needs already filled. But it's nice because there's always more. It's a huge industry, the indie development scene, and there's just a lot of room for, I think, everyone personally. And if we're comparing the indie development scene to the AAA development scene, like a proper company, then I would say that the biggest difference is just that, I mean, indie development is definitely less secure financially, and there's a lot more risk. And I remember hearing this a few years ago. I don't know what it is now, but I'm pretty sure that the failure rate in game development is something like 99%. I could be wrong about that, but I don't doubt that it's high. I mean, a lot of people want to make the next biggest game ever, and people get overly ambitious, and it's hard to make games. It's very difficult on all ends of it, whether you're making music, sound, programming, you're doing the art, animation, VFX, whatever it is. And I think that AAA definitely has like a certain standard, and it's a high standard. There's pros and cons to going into AAA and going into indie, and I prefer indie personally. I mean, the AAA scene, I have some friends who are, like, I have a friend who works at EA, and he says that the biggest thing is that the diversity in his projects, if he did freelance, would be way greater. He would have such a greater variety of projects to work on, but he's just mainly doing, I believe he's mainly just doing like film compositing and stuff. So like he's just doing too much of the same thing, I guess. And in that sense, I think that indie development gives a greater chance to grow. But at the same time, you're also competing with the AAA companies, which usually have a lot more money. And, you know, there's a balance to it. I prefer indie. I felt like I've grown a lot with the indie crowd so far, and it's been a lot of fun for me. But everyone's different. I think that what I just explained is a pretty good reason to go indie. But along with that, there are a lot of reasons why you shouldn't go indie. I think that indie development should definitely start off as a hobby or something casual. I started at a pretty young age with sound design and music. I actually started with music and then I got into sound design. I started young and I was able to just like balance my time and not put too much effort into it. I just got a few gigs doing music for some games online and stuff like that, and it was pretty simple, honestly. It wasn't anything crazy, and I think that you should get into indie to learn. I think that's the biggest thing, and it's a very easy community to get involved in, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's really... I mean, there are tons of Facebook groups, there's subreddits on Reddit, you can go on Twitter and you can follow game developers and just, you know, talk with these people and become involved. I have a lot of friends who are just making games because they want to, and they have full-time jobs along with it. But I mean, you can just start off with a hobby and like start it part-time or just do it in your free time. Everyone has different aspirations. I think that it's just a great way to grow and learn, and it's a great place for an opportunity to expand your skill set. You can find other people who need an artist or a sound designer or a programmer, and you can basically just find people making a game that you want to be a part of. I think it's nice that there is that opportunity to be involved in the community, whereas something like a AAA studio, you have to apply for the job, and like it's just a lot more relaxed with indie. And I think that just having the opportunity to jump right into it with indie development is a really great thing.